We're actually doing
So what if I want to tape your presentation?
Well, I need to talk to you.
I have already. I have their permission to do that.
Well, don't get in my face.
I beg your pardon. I think you were getting in my face.
No, actually, you walked up to me, son. And you walked up to me. Now, I don't think you really understand.
Am I your son?
You are acting like one. I know you're old, and you don't have much life left, and you have problems. But when you walk up to me and get in my face and tell me I'm getting in your face, then we have a problem. So I'll be right back. You hold
You're
tight.
touching me, you know.
You spit in my face.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Please keep your dribble to yourself. Be right back.
My goodness. My goodness, indeed. You really have a problem, don't you?
Well, no, you have a problem.
No,
You've been indiscreet.
anybody who doesn't agree with you has a problem. Isn't that
No,
true?
come here, Byron. Come here. First off, you're trying to be disruptive. You're trying to be neat. Okay? If you want to be a journalist, ask journalistic questions. Don't walk up to me and go, you're getting in my face. Don't walk up to me and tell me I'm getting in your face.
You know, we have it all on camera, so we'll see what
you can have your camera all day long.
We'll see what.
I'm sure you'll edit it the way you want to edit it. I'm sure you'll do your little thing, and that's why you're a local reporter, not national. That's why you've been in this business. How many years? How many years you've been a reporter?
35.
35. And where do you work?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. And you work for a local affiliate, right?
Correct.
You ever asked yourself why you work for a local affiliate, Byron?
Yes.
Yeah.
I worked there because I want to be there.
Oh, you've had all these opportunities to move up, and you've turned them down.
No, I actually work for the network.
Oh, you work for them?
I work for ABC.
You work for ABC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why you're doing the reporting you're doing, aren't you?
No.
Yeah. Excuse me, he's been trying to harass me. He got up in my face and said, get out of my face. He basically spit in my face. And he's been trying to disrupt the conference we're doing. So if you could please escort him.
I didn't do that again, so.
Well, we would like you to leave, though, because we do not want our speaker to be uncomfortable in this situation.
Well, you know, Dave Kaplan
Yes.
said I could be here.
Yes, yes. Certainly I can get Dave Kaplan involved here.
Yeah, why don't you go
Why don't
do
we
it?
go up to the show floor together?
Well, let's just stay here. Why don't
Now,
you
you
go
can
get
explain to Dave Kaplan why you've been trying to harass me and got in my face and insulted me. You can do that.
Yeah, because we really
Yeah,
do
you
want
can do
this
that,
to be a
Byron.
positive experience
Okay.
for everyone. So.
Thank you very much.
I will.
And you can email anytime you want, and we'll be glad to.
Hey, well, let me give you my card, because I sure would like to have a conversation.
Well, I already have your email address, so it's fine.
Well, I'd like to have a phone conversation with Frag and Dell. They're the people I really came to talk to. Not
Well,
you.
that's too bad.
Why?
Because that's up to them. Don't ask me for them to talk.
You wouldn't give them my business card with
I'm
my phone number on?
really busy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is he coming down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come down, Dave.
Okay, Dave will be here for a moment. So if you could shut off the camera, we'll wait for Dave to arrive, and we can discuss this with Dave.
Yeah. You pretty much have the idea of what he was doing. In
Yes.
There. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So you can
Yeah.
hear me? Good.
Yes. So we'll let other people in. We just want to shut the door for
No
you.
doubt.
Okay.
I have my tripod in there. So.
Feel free to go get the tripod, please. Yeah.
Yeah, we can roll the tape back. We have videotaped the whole thing. You want to see what happens? I didn't spin his face. I didn't. This 27-year-old kid was a problem.
Do you like having sex with 14-year-old girls?
They could be your next-door neighbors.
Do you like 14-year-old girls like that?
Average guys
You told Cindy you wanted her to shower and shave before you got here.
with tastes that are anything but.
You wanted Cindy, the 13-year-old, waiting for you naked when you walked in?
And with plenty of excuses, as you'll find in a minute.
Sam, who are you looking for?
I'm not really sure.
You came for Dee Dee, didn't you?
No.
And in a few hours, we managed to find a handful of Atlanta area men looking to have sex with 13 or 14-year-old girls. So how'd we do it? Through the website pervertedjustice.com, a controversial vigilante cyber patrol made up entirely of volunteers posing in online chat rooms as underage girls and boys, just waiting for men like Ricky.
Do you wish you hadn't done all this now?
I wish I hadn't.
We first met him at his Hateville home last November, a week after he asked a 14-year-old he thought he was chatting with to have her tubes tied so she would be his girlfriend. His wife didn't like that at all.
You god mother.
But Ricky wasn't talking to a 14-year-old girl in Atlanta. At the other end of the keyboard was a 38-year-old Los Angeles area man.
It's just really disgusting. I mean, when you really think about the fact that they really think they're talking to a child.
One of a number of Perverted Justice volunteers, CBS 46 is the only Atlanta station to sit alongside a member of this cyber patrol as he helps us demonstrate just how quickly and easily an online pedophile could track down and meet a teenager in Atlanta.
For the cities that I've worked, Atlanta is one of the worst. Quickest I've ever gotten one out of Atlanta to come probably within 20 minutes, half hour. They have been online, said they wanted to meet, picking up beer and condoms, and they're over at the house or the Roswell police station or wherever I choose to send them.
And today, he chose to send them to us. He began in Los Angeles at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, posing as 14-year-old Atlanta resident Cindy, while another Perverted Justice volunteer becomes 13-year-old Dee Dee. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, at noon, we were busy preparing a rented house Cindy, or 13-year-old Dee Dee, would tell the men they lived in. We covered the front window and waited. By 2:15 that same day, Gerald arrived from Alpharetta.
You here to see Cindy?
No.
Thinking he's going to meet Cindy.
Why'd you come over here?
Oh, God.
Do you like 14-year-old girls like that? You told Cindy you wanted her to shower and shave before you got here. So do you like to have sex with 14-year-old girls?
Then at 4, Rick showed up, quick to deny he was there to meet 14-year-old Cindy.
Hey, Rick, you're here to see Cindy, huh?
No.
Who are you here for? You're here to have sex with a 14-year-old girl named Cindy. Well, no, why'd you come here? You wanted to come what? Do you like 14-year-old girls?
Before leaving, Rick then stopped to open his car door again and explain this misunderstanding.
Do you like having sex with 14-year-old girls?
I have sex with 14-year-old girls.
Well, who are you here to meet then?
I just wanted to come tell her I didn't want to do this.
Why'd you talk about it so explicitly online then?
Sam showed up at 4:30 and was a bit more aggressive online, asking who he thought was a 13-year-old to wait for him on the couch naked, saying he just wanted to walk in on her. We left the door unlocked, and sure enough...
Hey, you're looking for Cindy, aren't you?
Sam walked right in, but he couldn't recall why he was here.
Sam, who are you looking for?
I'm not really sure.
You wanted Cindy, the 13-year-old, waiting for you naked when you walked in?
No, not me. Sorry.
Okay. Why did you stop by here?
I was actually coming to a different house. Contractor.
Yeah, you're the guy that's trying to have sex with a 13-year-old girl named Cindy. You wanted her to be naked when you showed up. Do you like having sex with 13-year-olds?
He then peeled out, even hitting a fence with his truck before speeding off. Finally, that night at 7:30, 23-year-old Rich came all the way from Athens to meet 13-year-old Dee Dee.
We'll walk with you because you parked down the street. You came here to have sex with a 13-year-old girl. You came all the way from Athens?
Nope.
Where'd you come from?
Nowhere.
What are you here for then? The house is empty. Nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there, huh?
4 men in 5 hours with one objective.
Do you like having sex with 13-year-olds?
One dangerous and illegal.
Do you like 14-year-old girls like that?
But as we found, easier to accomplish than you might think.
The internet is swarming with sexual predators who constantly stalk chat rooms searching for children. But Del Harvey is fighting back by hunting down online pedophiles and bringing them to justice. She's here today to uncover a disturbing world that every parent needs to be warned about. Please welcome, from pervertedjustice.com, Del Harvey. Del, it's amazing the work that you do. You've been doing it for a long time. We first spotted you on Dateline and were just blown away by the justice that you're actually bringing to our world in doing this. You essentially have been posing as young boys, young girls, trying to get these online predators. Before we see you in action, what is it that you do exactly?
Well, essentially, the organization goes into online chat rooms with underage profiles. And if adults then contact those underage profiles and solicit them for sex, we then contact the police and work with them to prosecute and convict them.
To trap them, essentially.
Yeah. Precisely.
Right.
Okay. So once you post a profile in one of these chat rooms and you're going back and forth, how long does it take before someone who is perverted comes on the scene? Is this a long process?
It depends on the area, but it can be as soon as 2 minutes,
Really?
5 minutes.
And then what do you do?
Essentially, you just have a conversation, and you see where they start taking it. If it's, oh, well, how's school? all right, you're really young, have a good day, be careful on the internet, great. If it's how's school, are you home alone, what's your parents do, then you start getting concerned. You actually just go ahead and maintain the conversation. We're very careful not to initiate things, because even though we're not law enforcement, we adhere to the standards of law enforcement to ensure that it's easy to prosecute the cases. Because the last thing we want to do is make it more difficult.
So you
to
have
put people in
training
jail.
for this?
Oh yeah, we actually now train police
And
departments.
when is it exactly that they start arresting these guys? When does the justice come in and able to take them away?
Well, essentially what we do is say that they say, okay, I want to meet you. Then we'll contact the police and say, okay, we've got someone.
Coming over.
Where do you want him to meet us? And they'll say, okay, take him to the park at 4 o'clock. And we'll say, I'm going to be out from school early. I'll meet you at the park at 4 o'clock. They go to the park and
police are there.
Police
But they have
Is that
to
enough
meet.
proof?
You can't just do it. You
Absolutely.
can't just do it from the chat.
Not true. You can do it from the chat.
In some
because
states?
if you have solicited a child for sex online, that's illegal in a number of states. And if you sent pornography, a lot of them will masturbate on webcam for the child.
And that's evidence.
Absolutely. If you have screen caps
And
of
the
that.
intent. So the intent
Absolutely.
is enough to prosecute these people.
An intent to have sex with the child is enough to prosecute in a number of states.
Aren't
yes.
they wise to it yet, though? Because, you know, people like you talk about it, people like us talk about this, and they know that there are undercover people on the web.
Well, we got 18 this past weekend in Ohio, so now.
The compulsion is enormous, probably.
No, because she is in public. Mary, we have some transcripts of some of the conversations you've had with these perverts. And this one is with a 51-year-old man who thinks that he's talking to a 13-year-old girl. I just want to let the audience know that the thing that's so graphic, we can only read you a little bit of it. But the man says, do you like older guys? To which you respond, as the 13-year-old, yeah, they aren't obsessed with video games. No, says the man, they're obsessed with pretty girls. Can you hold for a min? You say K. Sorry about that potty break. Do you think you'd like for a guy my age to taste some of your kisses sometime?
Oh, my goodness.
You respond, I bet you're a good kisser. I bet you would be fun to cuddle with and hug, he says. I like to think so. Can I ask a really personal question? Sure. And he asks, are you a virgin? Yeah. Honestly, I have been looking for a young girl. I really don't think I would find one as young as you. You say, am I okay? And he responds, are you okay? Baby, you passed okay a long, long time ago.
And that's the part that we could actually put on here.
To what
well, we can't even
That's the
say what
non-graphic
they read.
part.
But is that fairly typical of what these predators write to these kids?
It depends on the type of predator. That's actually a great example of one of the most disturbing types, which is what we call the groomer. And by groomer, we mean someone who really tries to insert themselves into your child's trust. So they're sitting there telling your child, who may be, 12, 13, 14, your average insecure teenager, you're so smart. You are so mature. You're so beautiful. And the kid's sitting there going, my parents won't let me stay up till 11 o'clock.
Yeah, you understand.
This guy understands
This guy
me.
gets me, they're saying.
Precisely.
I don't know how you'd classify this next one other than you have said is the worst online predator that you've come across. It's a 34-year-old man talking to what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. In it, he says, well, how old are you? You respond, posing as the girl, I'm almost 14. I see. Too bad you're 13 because I'm looking for someone. Well, I just feel so empty inside, you write, Is it ever going to get any better? He writes, it doesn't. He writes again, I'm looking for a younger, submissive female to train. You write, what does that mean? Well, she's a girl that allows another man to take control of her. Girl writes, I just want to feel safe. Man writes, but if I did this, it would have to be done in secret and you would have to be totally submissive. What are you going to train me to do, you write? He says, to be my slave girl. What do I do, though? You'll find out. It will take some time for the training. But at the very base, you are my woman. Sad girl says, okay. He says, you like that thought. He's not even asking. He's already saying, you like this thought. First of all, where is this guy now?
Jail. Still in jail.
Sometimes you're a girl, sometimes you're a boy, and you have certain things you say so that you sound like a boy. But for the show Dateline, you went one step further than chatting. You said, come to my house. It wasn't exactly your house, but they came. The cops came waiting to see them there. And we have a little bit of this to show what happened when they actually came to the house they thought was yours. Were you a girl or a boy then?
It depended on the person.
Then you were a boy. Okay. Let's take a look.
Hey, you out there? Hi. Hey, let me finish brushing my teeth real fast, okay? Just sit at the counter for a second? Okay. What'd you bring me?
I brought you an apple pie.
I gotta go floss. They still got something stuck in my teeth.
Oh, okay.
Come here.
Did you want to be the cop or the robber?
Oh, I don't care.
Just hang out at the counter for a second, okay?
Okay.
So I know I showered once. Did you still want to shower again?
Well, I'm kind of stinky.
Boy. And they were arrested?
Yeah, all of them are arrested.
And I have to ask you, the whole situation with MySpace, they also look for these kids on MySpace, and I think kids need to know, and parents, this is so prevalent, and kids are under 14 actually on MySpace, and they search for children as their catalog.
How many predators would you say are out there? What's your guesstimate?
Actually, the latest estimations have been that there's around 50,000 predators online at any given moment.
Oh, okay, what do parents do?
They're
I mean,
from
you look at this-
500,000 to 750,000 online per day.
What can a parent do?
Be really careful.
And how?
Keep
What
in
does that mean?
contact with your kid. You know, be aware if they have a MySpace. Be aware of what's on it. Not only just what's on theirs, but what's on their friend's MySpace.
Yes, exactly.
Because say your kid's as safe as the whole world can be, but their friend has a comment saying, can't wait to see you at school on Thursday, and their friend has their school posted. Be careful of, don't let them go into chat rooms. There's no reason for a kid to be in a chat room.
Should
if
you
they're
snoop
gonna
on them?
chat, oh yeah.
Yes,
Snoop on them. I'm 24, I'm a betrayer to my generation, I know, but snoop on your children.
Yes.
Del,
Keep
thank
them
you.
safe.
Because
You're
you know
not a
what, with
betrayer.
so many unseen predators, you are a foot soldier in this cause, and our hats are off to you. All the parents in this country feel the same way. Thank you so much. Our thanks to Del Harvey. We will be right back. Doing it the right way.
This is all one side of this claim. Meanwhile, there is a controversial website that is being used to out possible child molesters. It's called PervertedJustice.com. Members of its team pose as minors in general internet chat rooms, and they wait for adults to engage them in sexual conversation. When this happens, the team checks the adult's identification and then posts all sorts of information about that person, home phone number, you name it, all over the website. Is it a good idea, or is it potentially dangerous? Xavier Von Erck is the founder of PervertedJustice.com, this website we're talking about. Julie Posey is a cybercrime fighter who has worked closely with police on these kinds of cases. She disagrees with the website's tactics. She's with us via phone. She actually had planned to be with us here in the studio, but as luck would have it, her flight was late. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Xavier, I'm going to start with you. You have some convictions under your belt. You have some arrests under your belt. This includes something as early as this past Monday, right?
It actually includes today. We had a teacher in Cincinnati arrested on child porn charges just today.
Really?
Yes.
So what happened in that case that you were involved in?
Well, he was in a chat room, as most of them are, and he was trying to hit up one of our underage profiles. We took it to police. They did the investigation. They found some child porn, and they're now charging him with solicitation and pandering.
Since you've been involved in this website, how many arrests are we talking about?
We're talking in the last just 7 months, over 25 arrests and 6 convictions, not to mention that we helped locate an abducted girl in Washington State.
Wow, you did. Julie, you have also worked with police, although not with this website, in helping them catch child predators. How do you feel about what PervertedJustice.com is doing?
Well, I strongly disagree with it. It leans more toward perverted than it does justice. They're not cooperating with police at all. It's more of an entertainment site, actually. You go there, you click on a link of a picture, it takes you to that person's chat log, and that person has a scale, a sliminess scale, as he calls it, and you can rate the pervert, as he calls it, from, I think it's 1 to 5. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to me, that kind of gives a sense of entertainment. Anybody that finds entertainment value in exploiting children, I have a problem with it.
Xavier, how do you respond?
Julie Posey seems to be the only person on the planet who's finding entertainment value from our website. We have assisted in 25 arrests, 6 convictions. In fact, in the last 5 weeks, we've had 11 arrests, indictments, or convictions. If you go by the full year with that ratio, we will have more arrests, indictments, and convictions than Julie Posey did in 7 years. Why? Because, thank you. Because we have told the public, we've told you, the viewing audience, that you have a role. We're not like Julie Posey, who tries to be the cybercrime fighter, doing it all herself. We say to you, the public, you can help, and you can help fight this epidemic.
Let me make sure. You have only adults posing as minors. You don't have...
Only adults.
Right. There are no minors working with you.
No way, no how.
Okay. You know, there are two sides of this, of course. And Julie, I want to just read you an email I got from a viewer who checked out the website. And here's what she says. Her name is Holly. She says, it's been almost 20 years ago since I was lured to Chicago by a child predator who met me over the internet. That's when the internet was a seed and everything online was a chat room. Thank goodness for people who are willing to make sure that no one has to go through what I had to go through. What do you say, Julie?
Well, I say, you know, that's too bad she did have to go through that, but I'm also saying that he is not doing it right. And I will also say to the public that, yes, I do it by myself, and the reason for that is because I know that my stuff is quality, and the only reason that law enforcement even accepts my phone calls is because I have separated myself from the vigilante movement.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Xavier, let me, in all seriousness, because we're talking about children here, we're talking about their safety, and we're talking about law enforcement. Mm-hmm. You, in every case, do you contact the police?
In every case, since September of 2004, we contacted police. Unlike Julie Posey, we don't take donations. We don't ask for money. We haven't turned our group into a link to our own online store.
Okay.
So
well, let's not make this a personal attack on each other, because we're really about, everyone here wants to make sure that we protect the kids. I want to. Here's another. This is another email on the other side, and this one's for you, Xavier. This is from Bill Rem. He says, at first glance, perverted justice seems like a great idea, but the actions that the people at PJ take go far beyond simply outing someone. They take the nuclear bomb approach and negatively affect innocent lives as well. And I did some searching, and there was actually, like, the case of a woman, a Milwaukee banker. Her phone number was posted through your site, and she had nothing to do with the person you were after.
Actually, in that case, it was a phone number who was posted of someone else. The phone number was then canceled and recirculated. Had she just contacted us, we would have took it down immediately, but instead she went straight to the media. As for these people being innocent, they're soliciting children. You read the chat logs yourselves. We don't hide anything. We want you to be aware of what we do and what happens. It's an educational service.
Xavier Von Erck and Julie Posey, thank you both for being part of this discussion. If you'd like to give us your comments on this, please go to our webpage, foxnews.com/dayside. Let us know what you think.
The internet is a tool for education, research, and entertainment.
But it also can pose a danger to your children. The problem, men surfing the net looking for children for sex. A 5i team investigation now sheds new light on this problem in a way we think you'll agree has never been done before here in the Valley. Morgan Lowe has the story you'll see only on CBS 5 News.
John, over the course of 2 days, we surfed internet chat rooms and watched as a computer expert pose as an underage girl. These are the same chat rooms your children probably use to communicate with friends. But while we were online, we were contacted at any given time by as many as 20 different men asking us about sex. 10 of those men took it one step further.
It's 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, and a 39-year-old man arrives at a Phoenix home planning to have sex with a 14-year-old girl. He brought booze. He thinks she's home alone, and he's not the only one.
Not a pedophile.
Over the course of just 2 days, 10 men came to this home hoping for sex with young girls. But that's not what they found.
Where you going, buddy? Who are you here to see? I don't know.
When they showed up,
13-year-old girl you want to have sex with you.
They had the surprise of their lives.
What the hell is this?
Over.
That wasn't me.
And over.
Why don't you just explain why you're here?
And over again.
I'm mad at myself.
CBS 5 rented a house in Central Phoenix. We wired it with high-speed internet and hidden cameras to show you what could happen in your home with a child and the internet. We got some help from this man.
It never fails to surprise me how easy it is to get these guys to show up.
He calls himself Frank Fencepost, and he's the co-founder of a website named PervertedJustice.com. He and his group target internet sex predators.
In the last year and a half, PervertedJustice.com has caught nearly 600 men online trolling for underage females to have sexual encounters with.
Frank assumes the online identity of a teenage or preteen girl and patrols internet chat rooms popular with young people. But he's looking for men interested in children, men like the one in the beginning of our story. Online, his name is MXDoc2001, and he posted a picture of himself on the web. He starts in on a chat with someone he thinks is a 14-year-old girl. Much of the transcript is too sexually explicit for a TV audience, but this gives you an idea. He asks, "What kind of guys do you like? Are you on the pill? Are you the police or related agency?" Less than a half hour later, he's walking up our driveway.
It's a little late for a house call, isn't it? You want to talk to us about the online chat you were having?
Nope, I don't.
You want to say anything about possibly coming to visit a 14-year-old girl?
In every case, the lure is a young girl who's home alone and could be drawn into a sexual conversation. This man thinks he's chatting with a 15-year-old. After 10 minutes, he asks, "Do you fool around?" The girl responds, "I have fooled around." He writes, "Cool. So you want to hook up now then? I will need to stop and pick up condoms." A Perverted Justice volunteer follows up with a quick phone call.
What are you going to drive so that I know that it's you?
30 minutes later, he's walking up the driveway of our Central Phoenix home and into the spotlight.
Who were you talking to online?
I asked her if the police were involved.
Were you coming over here to have sex with her? Is that what you were doing?
She was 15.
But that isn't exactly true, because 30 minutes earlier,
So you know that I'm 15, right?
She told you she was 15.
I didn't remember that part.
he's not the only one with a memory problem. The man who pulls up in this pickup truck also forgets some key details about the reason he came to our house.
Who are you looking for?
My friend Mike.
Is that who you're talking to online?
I haven't been online.
Yeah.
Less than a half hour earlier, he was typing, "I'm old enough to be your dad." A few minutes later, "So when do you want to get together?" We ask him, "Can you bring some beer?" And his online picture confirms he's the man who arrived at the house.
I have never had a conversation with anybody. I don't know what you're talking about or what's going on here.
We'll show you the transcript if you'd like to see it.
He gets into his truck with the six-pack he said he'd bring and peels out down the driveway. But not everyone runs away. In fact, some stick around and
Who are you
talk.
looking for?
I'm looking for a friend of mine.
Yeah, who's your friend? You're looking for a 12-year-old girl that you've been chatting with online?
No.
No? Well, let me read you some transcripts here.
The man posted his picture online. During the chat, he asked, "What is your bra size? Are you a virgin? What time will your mom be home?"
What were you coming here to do?
She wanted to hang out. I wasn't going to do anything.
But you asked her if she was a virgin.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, in
Casual
chat.
conversation?
Yeah, I swear to God.
With
I
a
was not-
12-year-old girl. Do you think that's acceptable?
No, it's not.
Experts say the kinds of things we witnessed, adult men writing sexually explicit dialogue to children, showing inappropriate pictures of themselves, and showing up at the home of a child, are things that happen all over the country every day. According to pedowatch.com, 70% of sex offenders use the internet, and 1 in 5 children online gets propositioned for sex every year. Police say parents need to be aware of this very real danger.
I don't believe many parents do understand the scope of the problem.
The Phoenix Police Department and other local police agencies have arrested dozens of men in similar sting operations. Recently, they arrested a doctor, a Salvation Army youth leader, and this Army National Guardsman was arrested 4 years ago. We mention him because he was one of the men who showed up at our Phoenix home during this sting operation. He thought he was meeting a 13-year-old girl. Some of these men apologized for their actions after they saw our cameras, but others maintain they did nothing wrong.
What are you coming here to meet a 13-year-old girl for?
I was coming to meet her, a blind date.
After this man left, he logged back online and wrote, "I certainly hope you get some more men, some real criminals, and you will be wise enough not to put some upper-classy college boy on TV who wanted to make a friend." Their explanations may have been different, but they all have one thing in common: they got caught.
They came to this door of this house believing that they were predators, and they got a little bit of a surprise.
Over the past week, several of the men you saw have contacted us wanting to tell their side. Here's what they had to say.
This man says, it was not me online. My girlfriend was chatting online and arranged the meeting. I was unaware of the girl's age. This man emailed, I was shocked and embarrassed to discover that Annie was in fact a 13-year-old and that this was a setup operation. It was not my intention to meet young girls or have any interactions whatsoever with girls under the age of 18. And finally, this man says, I am very sorry. I honestly didn't realize the girl was 15. I wasn't paying attention on the phone, more to driving.
Now, coming up tomorrow night at 10, we're going to tell you the story of one of these men. Turns out he was in a similar situation 4 years ago to the day that we caught him. And if you're wondering how you can protect your children, log on to kpho.com. We've posted links to websites that are loaded with great internet safety information. For the 5i team, I'm Morgan Lowe, CBS 5 News.
I can.
So, do you have, I mean, this, you know, don't answer this if you don't, but do you have, like, nice, breasts?
I guess so. I don't know. No one's really ever commented on them.
Because, I mean, you seem like a sweet girl, and I just don't want to, you know, have, being only 13. So, if you really wanted to get me hard, you know what you could do?
The reason men go after young people, both females and boys, is as old as time itself. They want to have control, they want to have domination. They want to be able to take what is basically a blank slate and turn it into their own perverted desires. That's pretty much why they step out there. It's an issue of control and dominance sexually, more so than it is anything else.
So, now let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
If you were able to come over on Saturday, you wouldn't get in trouble with your mom or nothing?
No, I mean, she's never around. Like, she doesn't even know where I am half the time.
It gives them a more secure outlet, whereas in the past, being at a park would draw a certain amount of attention. You had to be fairly aggressive as a predator to do so. On the internet, you can be a passive predator. You can sit, you can wait, you can watch, and you can contact. You don't have to go out into the public. You don't have to be seen. You can just sit in the shadows.
Have you ever kissed a guy with a tongue before?
Yeah.
Probably one of the most frightening things about him is towards the end of the chat, he started talking about love. And he said, well, doomed love is the best love, referring to love in which at least one of the people dies. And I'm sitting here going, this is a kid he's talking to.
At this very second that we're speaking, we have an individual going to an Oklahoma training facility that we're putting on who's going to be arrested. At this very second we're speaking, we have 100 convictions. At this very second, there's 38 pedophile websites knocked offline. At this very second, somewhere in America, in some jail, a guy is crying because we put him in.
The sergeant and his men, who are staked out in a mobile home parked in the driveway next door, are ready and waiting for suspects to show up at the house in an attempt to molest a child.
One of the best things that came out of that was that we were able to see on TV the different people who would do this, and we found out that it's not all some sweaty old creepy guy, in the basement, in a stained t-shirt or whatever, or a guy in a trench coat with a lollipop.
We had military personnel, we had a doctor, we had computer engineers, we had salesmen. They came from all walks of life.
You just want to
This is not a
filibuster,
start.
and that's
This
a problem.
is a misguided, no accountability, out of check, vigilante
James,
organization.
I have a
and
question for
therein
James.
lies the problem.
If he would quit talking for a second.
It only takes one kid. How many kids has he allowed lives to ruin? Had there been a real child he had a disgusting conversation with and grew, I don't care. I don't care if it's only two. I don't care if it's only one. One's enough.
you ask how we keep on keeping on, we get letters from people who say, you know what? He molested me when I was a child. Thank you for stopping him because I couldn't. He molested my children. Thank you for stopping him. I was married to him and I didn't know what he was doing. Thank you before he molested my children. My God, this thing is so out of hand. I mean, it is just pervasive. Law enforcement doesn't realize what's going on. I didn't realize what was going on. The public didn't realize what was going on. This thing just happened quietly. It had gotten this bad, and nobody was watching. Nobody was paying attention.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay.
You have a good night's sleep, sweetie, okay?
You too.
Okay, it was good to talk to you. Bye-bye,
Bye.
sweetie, bye.
Bye.
Okay.
An official at the Department of Homeland Security caught in a child sex sting. Brian J. Doyle, the fourth-ranking spokesman at DHS, was put on unpaid leave today after being charged with soliciting sex from a child. Authorities say he initiated sexual conversations online with an undercover cop he believed was a 14-year-old girl. Doyle was arrested Tuesday while he was online, but the story of how he got caught raises questions. To answer some of them, we're joined now by Xavier Von Erck. He's the director of operations of an organization called Perverted Justice that seeks to bring creeps like that to justice. Xavier Von Erck, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I think a lot of our viewers may be confused as to where Mr. Doyle was, or was reputed or alleged to be, online when he was talking to this girl. If you're an older child molester looking for a child, where do you go?
You would go to a chat room, such as on Yahoo Chat, or you would go to a social networking site, such as myspace.com or livejournal.com, and try to find profiles of what you think are underage children.
And then you email those children and say, let's meet?
It depends on the tactic of the individual. There's a myriad of different ways that predators try to get real children to meet them. Sometimes they just go straight out, let's meet, let's have sex, let's do it. Others are a little bit more cautious and will try to befriend the kid, do some research on what they think is a child, and use that to befriend and then turn it to sex later.
You just named two pretty well-known sites, Yahoo and myspace.com. These are big operations, part of big corporations. They must be aware, as you are, that this is going on their sites. What are they doing to stop it?
Yahoo recently has closed down all their teen rooms and is trying to keep teens out of their chat services. But still, they don't have any moderators, and they could still do more. MySpace is actually working, trying to play catch-up now with a staff that tries to eliminate predators from their services. But there's also other sites out there that are just as dangerous, such as LiveJournal, which does not have any policies restricting pedophiles from using their website. In fact, they've said so publicly.
They have said out loud, pedophiles welcome to use this site, or not prohibited from it.
Nothing in their terms of service restricts them.
Well, wow, that's a little over the top. So how do the police, or how do you, who work on this as well, stumble upon, apprehend child molesters trying to pick up kids?
It's really akin to fishing. You go into a boat on a lake and you put your hook out, and then fish will come by and come for it. It's pretty much the same way online. You go online into a chat room or on a social networking site and you put your profile up and you just wait. And you will get bites. You will get older men who will contact you trying to see if you're willing to be with them.
Every time? If you put up a profile of a 14-year-old girl and didn't, say, I'm open to having a relationship with an older man, just a straightforward 14-year-old girl web page, whatever that looks like, do you think you would actually get creeps coming on to you?
Oh, yes. You'd get dozens of creeps coming on to you. Just recently, in January, in California, we had 51 individuals show up over 3 days to be arrested after soliciting our profiles in chat rooms. All we have to do is go into a chat room and sit. We will get predators soliciting us usually instantly, and you'll usually get more than one.
Well, not to ask the same question again, but I'm just a little stunned as to why more people aren't doing something about this. I mean, these websites are owned by people. It seems to me I don't know, that they're not, maybe not complicit, but they have some role in this. If I'm a bartender and I serve a guy who's obviously drunk and he goes and crashes his car into a school and kills people, I'm partly liable for that. That's not the case online?
It's not the case online. There's different court precedents that hold chat servers and people who own websites not accountable for the actions of users on their websites as long as they have a terms of service agreement. So there's really no lawsuit liability yet for these businesses that have these chat rooms open or websites open to predators.
You said that on one site there were 51 people were driven to a house where they were arrested. About how many people get arrested every year for trying to pick up kids online?
It's in the hundreds. So far this year, my organization, PervertedJustice.com, has had about 100 people arrested from January 1st to today for soliciting children online. And that's just us. That doesn't include local law enforcement and, as you see in Florida, with the Department of Homeland Security press secretary.
Does it seem to be making any dent in the weirdo community?
No, because there's not enough teeth in the laws against them to put them in jail for a long time. For example, 3 of the 51 individuals that showed up and were arrested were back in the rooms within a month soliciting us again because they were awaiting trial, their bail was too low, and they were out, and they got right back on the computer and tried to find a real kid. Additionally, two weekends ago in Ohio, a 47-year-old man showed up to have sex with what he thought was one of our decoys. Turns out he was sentenced 2 days before to 11 months in jail. They gave him a week to take care of his personal affairs, and he decided to try to find a kid rather than take care of his personal affairs.
I'm pretty libertarian about almost everything, especially regulation of anything, but, they're wrecking the internet for people who have children, and it's just disgusting, and I hope someone does something about it. Thank you for doing something about it. Xavier Von Eck, thanks a lot.
Thank you.